which is a lot.
Yeah.
Coinbase voted only on the community working group budget. Let me check. Yes, only on that one. They didn't vote in any of the other ones. Yeah, they didn't.
None of the other working
vote
groups either, huh? Like the budgets.
Nope. I mean, my working group is the best, so of course they will vote on my working.
Oh, so you're the Coinbase Fed.
Yes. Sorry, they also vote on the ecosystem working group budget.
Right on.
Which it's
gives them plausible deniability.
Yeah. But also brings the question for me of why did you not vote for the publicates, or why didn't you vote for the meta governance? You didn't have enough information.
Sir, we are doing our best to participate in ENS governance. Right? But see, if you don't vote on everything, and then if you don't vote on a contentious one, it's just one of those ones that I'm sorry, we just we're trying our best.
Yeah, basically. So it is just funny. Like this kind of participations, sometimes, yeah, it's just participation, and we will see how this goes. All these snapshot proposals are already closed. There was another one, which was the 6.2 snapshot, and the 6.2 was depending on the result of 6.1. So if Brownlee Milligan was removed from the ENS Foundation, there was a parallel vote to elect the new one. And the winner was AFTA, that if, with 60%. But, of course, since Brownlee was not removed, 6.2 didn't come in, was not valid. So it was not ratified. Sorry. So yeah, it was a very it's a very interesting.
Well, this is. I got to be honest though. It's like in traditional like political systems, this would like 6.2 would be egg like all over your face. Like if in other words, if you if you start drafting a list of potential replacements before the status quo leadership has been removed, like, and then the removal action fails, you look kind of silly, or you look it just this is proof positive of politics almost. It sort of reeks of that. I'm sorry, I don't have to be like so strong language, but like it is highly interesting that this was posted. Is it the same day? Yeah. So
yeah.
Is it the same time frame too?
Yes.
That strikes me as strange.
I think they they wanted to have everything. They have a timeline to deploy on the DAO, and the budgets were a little bit delayed already. They were supposed to be uploaded before, because you are missing out first part of the year, and I think I will have done the same with the 6.2 and 6.1, mainly because I feel it's nothing happens if 6.2 doesn't get executed, but you have already taken a parallel decision. So in a way, it feels more just, because then you are not having this competition or this aftermath of the first snapshot result. So I don't know.
I mean, I guess that part of the idea could be if you're fielding a list of candidates, then it could persuade people to provide people with additional context on how they voted on 6.1. But it still seems like I don't know. Like there are justifications, but I just feel like, as far as I think that in some ways, and this reflects on conversation we've had previously on other news that we've found related to governance decisions in various DAOs, is that I think we're going to see more procedural I don't know, guardrails put in place, or like on these types of specific things in the future. Like, how would ENS handle it differently? That's a question that I'm sure is an active conversation within the DAO, and is interesting to think about, on a number of levels, right? I'll add one more thing that actually has come to mind, and I don't have the tweet at the ready, so I can't share it right now, but I don't know if anybody, if you, Edu, I think we've spoken a little bit about him, or if folks in the audience follow Gabriel Shapiro, He's, one of the sort of leading crypto lawyers, I suppose you could say, Lex DAO and all that. I was originally sort of pointed in his direction by Luke of One Hive, and I find he has some interesting insights. He, of course, had raised a question that is, for any lawyer or debater, was good to see raised, and like it was then sort of the substance for a deeper conversation on Twitter with regards to whether or not Brantley, like, not necessarily, well, as you explained earlier, Edu, there are these different parts of ENS, right? So specifically what part of ENS is relevant to the point I'm trying to make is unclear to me, but it seems as though there is, right, clearly an LLC based in Singapore that fired him based on what his comments and such on Twitter. And the assertion by the lawyers, one of which I am not, okay, was that this is like a home run for any lawyer that wanted to take up Brantley's case as essentially a case of violating his religious freedom. Right. And what emerged from this conversation was essentially the point that Brantley, like in doing so, Brantley would destroy the thing he created. And so it's like unlikely, but it's this very interesting situation where, legally speaking, if you're to strip away everything else and just have sort of an objective, legal conversation, there's definitely grounds for like action here. And so I don't know, this is definitely something I'm glad we're keeping in touch with on a weekly basis, man. I think it will continue to be something worth watching for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we will see later on also his relationship with the DAO. If he applies to be a steward, if he get engaged, like what will happen after this? It's what is also interesting as a model of governance. Just to see what to follow up. And yeah, so that's that. Those were the proposals from ENS, and now we can move on to Uniswap.
Let's do it.
And Uniswap has this question under the snapshot, which is, should Uniswap governance contribute funding to the Nomic Foundation? And it's a proposal that started on snapshot, which is March the 2nd, and it ended funding to the Nomic on March the 4th. And it explained that Nomic Labs, the team behind Hard Hat, has become the Nomic Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to Ethereum. And the new foundation will expand the Hard Hat suite of tools and, most importantly, build a long-term infrastructure to catalyze organic growth in the Ethereum tooling ecosystem, decreasing Ethereum dependency on any one organization to build and maintain core development platform components. And the community is proposing to Uniswap governance to make a contribution of $5 million to the Nomic Foundation to support its vision. And they also explain here that Hard Hat is de facto standard developer tool used to build Ethereum software, with more than 23K GitHub repositories and prominent teams relying on it, including ENS, Optimism, OpenZeppelin, Aave, Balancer, and so on. And they are seeking 30 million in total funding from the ecosystem, and they have already secured 15 million by the Ethereum Foundation, Vitalik, Coinbase, Polygon, the Graph, and so on. So if by the way, the proposal passed with 2.5 million uni. So 5 million, it's quite interesting that they are seeing so much value on the Hard Hat and the Nomic Foundation. Do they have a token? I have no clue, but it's interesting that they are doing this development. Have you ever seen it? This tool, Hard Hat?
No, I have zero technical knowledge or experience, but I know of it. I hear about it a lot. This would be something. I know Billy's in the audience right now. I don't know if Billy's got any thoughts about the Hard Hat or about this in particular. Is this something we can either chat in the One Hype TV or even I don't know, Billy, if anybody on the devs have thoughts about this proposal in particular, sort of the linkage. It seems as though they have a lot of funding already from the NS Foundation or from the Ethereum Foundation. And so they're looking for a partnership with Uniswap. I'm unclear. Like I can't necessarily evaluate this very last section, the why Uniswap. I mean, I get what they've written here, but I don't understand it from a developer perspective. So it'd be cool to hear what people think about this potential partnership.
Yeah, and also on the vote section, just to note that the fact there was one single vote who had 2.5 million unique. Which the name was Avant-Garde DeFi. It's a very interesting voter on this kind of vote. 851 votes were on this proposal, but the one that sort of put most of the votes was this one. This guy, this user, with 2.5 million tokens of Uni.
Yeah, because the consensus check only had like the maximum with the top person's like 1,000 Uni. Oh, same here. Yeah. You want to go check the wallet? Let's go see.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And yeah, Uniswap has been quite quiet in the past weeks. They have not done any much. The next proposal, it's the same. It's a consensus check, and it's the same question once again. And it's a proposal that follow up the one previously mentioned, and it started on March 7th and ends March 12th. And it's the same explanation. They didn't do much of a change to say yes or no vote. They basically did a copy and paste of the past snapshot because it passed. So yeah, they are moving on with this proposal, it seems. So it may be worth it to take a look at the Nomic Foundation and see what those guys are building.
Yeah, do you have any? This, in some ways, I guess wonder if this is related to Nomics, the website. Again, I don't know enough here. I mean, if anybody in chat has got an idea, Nomics is like a CoinMarketCap site, and they use some machine learning for like predictive stuff.
Zero clue, but yeah, I mean, they explained there that they were called Nomic Labs before, so who knows?
I gotcha. Yeah, can we double back just for a second? Right. There are a couple questions. There's like two questions about ENS here in the chat. One was just regards to whether or not they have some type of like community covenant, and I know you're getting more involved in their DAO. I didn't know if they have something similar to that at some level of their governance, process, or no?
Yeah. So they are building a code of conduct, which was one of the results of the Brownie situation. Secondly, they do have a certain code of conduct that it's on the forum, but that doesn't extend to the ENS ecosystem. And they have the ENS foundation kind of values and constitution, and they have the DAO constitution. But the DAO constitution doesn't include a code of conduct, and therefore it gets tricky. And in the snapshot, you will see that they sort of name or invoke the status from the ENS Foundation. So at the level of the DAO, they are trying to build this code of conduct that will help to not prevent, because human beings are human beings. It's just a matter of providing a framework of thinking, providing a certain awareness about the boundaries or about the values or whatever else you want to call it, that people needs to be aware when they engage with communities like this one. And so yeah, they are working on this, and it should be ready in a few weeks, and it will be probably communicated and go to the snapshot for approval of the community.
Cool. Okay, so we'll see that in the coming weeks. Solar, I was asking about that, and it's a good question. It's one of those things that I think, again, that Gardens is thinking about out ahead of others, frankly, right? It's like the idea that you have some reference point that people in the community agree to adhere to, and like, I guess part of this question, and we don't even have this now again, but what comes to my mind is the question of if there had been something like that, like as the first thing on their snapshot, if they had that guidepost already, how could this issue have been handled, or would it have been handled differently? It's an interesting, like, counterfactual, but it's good. We look forward to seeing that in the future. The other question that was raised by Dosh is, and the question of Celeste, like, there are these sort of points where it could act as an interesting backstop for making decisions where the votes in making a final decision, rather than being something like on Snapshot, it would be, sort of randomly impaneled voters who have the largest stake in the arbitration protocol. Just an interesting other thing to think about there as far as how the tools we have could help solve some of these problems. But we could have a chat with, I don't know, Will or somebody that knows more about this on a technical level some week.
Yeah, the thing, and this is like this on the DAO just launched. The DNS DAO launched a few weeks ago, and the meetings of all the working groups are open. So if you guys have similar tools like this one, like Gardens for decision making and governance, they have a meta governance working group. So I think it's the kind of, it's a rare, and I've said this the past weeks, it's a rare opportunity because it's a huge project that just launched their own DAO. So they are starting to build. So it's a nice momentum to sort of bring this input, and if you have 1 hour to join their weekly governance call, just suggest options to this kind of stuff, because it is the only way we sort of build up. Like, even if ENS seems very close to one hive or the same users, at the end of the day, the ecosystem and the level of concentration that people dedicate to their own project sometimes keeps you in a bubble, and you're not aware of other tools. And even if they will work perfectly and fit perfectly your organization, you're just not on the know, and you're just not aware about it. So yeah, bring it over.
Right on. So I don't want to derail there. I know you got a couple other stories we want to touch on here, but wanted to make sure we answered a couple questions there. And again, if people have other questions, if you're with us in Discord, don't hesitate to drop them in the One Hive TV chat or in the chat on Twitch. But sorry, continue, sir. I think, are we next up? We got Olympus. You want to touch on theirs, or move on to Aavegotchi?
We have Olympus OEP 83. It's a very simple snapshot, and it's a proposal that started on March the 1st and end on March the 4th. And basically, it was about Curve 2 liquidity deployment, and they are seeking approval from the community on launching Curve V2 pair crypto pools, starting with ETH. Additional context, and it was proposed on the forum. The vote was to deploy liquidity to Curve V2 with 43K tokens on it, with a 100% approval of this actual proposal, and 152 votes on it. So they explain a little bit, if you want a context, that they propose a strategy of deploying gradually to gradually deploy capital to Curve V2 when it is possible. This will be done either through bonding of LP tokens, migration of the current liquidity, or the creation of the LP through treasury reserves. And the capital deployment will be gradual, starting with 10 million, and then potentially another 10 million after analyzing the trade volume and rewards. Very simple, and they approve it. So I don't think there is much to add to this. And then
got it. This integration with Curve, okay, or liquidity development rather. Let's check out Aavegotchi. Cool. Here we go.
And then we have Aavegotchi. This proposal that they are putting now, it started on March the 1st and it ends on March the 12th. And the name of the proposal is Reducing the Parcel VRF Variance. I probably butchered that name, but anyways. So they explain that the VRF variance of Alchemica under the ground of parcels 0.2 to 1.8 of average seems very high and could lead some people getting wrecked. A very unlucky spacious owner could get less Alchemica than a lucky reasonable owner. The first round will distribute more Alchemica than the rest of them, so losing big in the first round could set someone back by a lot. A proposed solution is lowering the variance at least 0.5, if not even 0.75 for the first round. Another option would be to create a binomial distributions with the left tail cut off, so it is possible to win big but impossible to get wrecked hard. very, very aggregator kind of proposal, basically, and which is that they are proposing a change of parameters in one of the in-game kind of features. Sorry, and the winning option was the binomial distribution with 63.69 of the votes. And yeah, it's very technical. I feel that at some point we will end up having someone from the aggregator community to explain all these snapshots, because some of them are like a world within a world. Like the only way to understand them if you play aggregator. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, it's a cool, like, game, and people talk about being able to provide a way for users to shape the game more actively. And it's just really cool to revisit this on a regular basis to see that, even this one you're talking about, which is fairly, it's just down the rabbit hole, but we still got almost, over 850 people participating in the vote. And let's see, out of 3.6 million ghost in favor of one option,
they didn't reach.
Yeah, go ahead.
They didn't reach the quorum, by the way.
So they didn't get. What is the quorum for passage? I see. 9 million. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess my observation is that they at least they have big holders, but for this one option, the biggest vote is still only worth 10% of the total committed to that option. So I guess, the point here is that it's pretty awesome to see, even if I don't understand all the details, to see that there's this active community that's shaping the game for sure.
Yeah, you are completely right on that.
Right, so are you a player on Polygon, or are you thinking about getting involved, Edu, on Navigate, or not yet?
At this point, yes, because I have read so many snapshots from Navigate that I will end up playing the game just to know what the hell they're talking about every week. Because it looks like a lot of fun, so why not?
Oh yeah.
Anyways, so the next one is Doodles. And Doodles, this is one of the things that we also touched last week. I don't know if you are aware of Doodles. You know what is Doodles and Doodle Bank and all this stuff?
Yeah, well, I'm aware of the NFT project. Other than that, not much.
Okay, yes. Yeah, NFT project is 10,000 NFTs. Doodles. And I really like how cute their branding is, and how playful it is. Anyways, they opened a snapshot to a final proposal to 100 ETH donation to relief, and they explained that with the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, many in the Web3 community, including them Doodles, have looked for avenues to provide support and relief. Is a team consisting of many reputable leaders in the Web3 space, such as Andrew Wang, who are focused on combining the efforts of the Web3 community and putting that words into action. This donation gives the Doodle community an opportunity to provide support in a unified and organized fashion while not requiring them to be hands-on in the effort. And it was voted on... I just saw your message, the seeker. The vote was voted yes with 62%. And then was the option of abstain with 27% and the no with 9%. So yes, there you have it. You have 100 ETH to the Doodles community.
Cool, man. Yeah, I got this on screen. If you're watching us on Twitch, you got the share screen of not only the snapshot, obviously, but the Twitter for this relief initiative funded by the Web3 community. So I'll drop a link to that in both chats here. This is a really cool initiative here, and it is. We say it ended already, right? Confirmed.
Yeah. It ended on March the 3rd.
Got it. So was this to the Ukrainian government, or was it? So it was to this organization specifically that has people on the ground. Okay.
Yes. is to the relief organization. That's on one end, and then we have a bunch of options to end with. A bunch of them are projects that I have no clue about. There is one that is I just love their naming. It's called Cyberconks. Is the last one of the options to finish this round of snapshot for this week, and it's a token that it's called Banana. The joke of if your project called Cyberconks, then your token will call Banana. And basically, they are asking for Banana V2 migration, the future of the Cyberconks to the 3D universe, Banana and you. I'm tired of saying Banana. It's a proposal that started a little bit late on January the 31 and ended on February the 10th. But just to provide another kind of snapshot for this stream, they explain that this new upcoming jungle adventure and collect experience requires a full update to the Banana token contract, an additional prement of the Banana to supply seasonal price pools. Because of this, the community had a vote on whether or not to move forward with the Banana B2. And they explained that Jungle Adventure is a fully on-chain game on the Polygon network with almost no gas fees, and all the positive of the Polygon network. And Jungle Adventure will feature a seasonal Banana prize pool that is distributed and reset every 10 days, beginning from day one of contract deployment, and can be claimed by burning Congium. The prize pool starts 10 days season randomly at one of 4 different pool sizes of 5K, 10K, 15K, or 20K Banana, and steadily grows with the Banana spent on adventure runs in the current season. To create the seasonal Banana prize for the next several years, the community requires a prement of 3 million additional Banana that will be locked into a time-based release contract. And it was approved with a 99% in favor. The funny thing is that they have only 1.1 members in the snapshot, but 1.8 voters on this proposal.
Wow.
Have you ever played this one?
No, man, I'm just sort of browsing around as you're talking. I got links to their docs in the chat there. They got quite a Twitter following. They got almost 160K, and they've been around since almost about a year. So they managed to hit the NFT craze. I've never played the game, though. Has anybody in the audience played it before? I do not know. It's interesting. I'll have to check it out. They got some pretty detailed docs here to check out. I'm curious. Again, if it's on Polygon, you sort of got my attention. If it's not on mainnet, at least I may be able to jump in and experiment.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I want you to, and this is not to bash out the Cyberconks community. Don't come from my head, but just go to the link of the Medium article where they present the play and collect with K. They have this logo, and I want you to Google the League of Legends logo.
Oh, this is okay. So we're going to compare the two. Let's see.
Yes, I want you to see that.
Oh, there's a lot of these where it's like you're just a few thousand Twitter followers away from a lawsuit. Is that it?
Basically, it's the same. It's a very similar logo. Very similar, also typography. So it's really funny. Anyways,
there you go. Yeah. Here we go. Got on. We'll get it on screen for everybody. Will work? Can you work? There we go. Yeah. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2. Just change the shade of this font. You got it. There you go. Play and collect.
Yeah. Play and collect. So that will be all for this week. Is there something else you would like to talk to us?
No, man, I think we covered a lot of different ground, which I always love for Mondays. Is sort of, to recap, right? We talked about some pretty serious stuff with ENS all the way through to some experimental gaming on Polygon. So I sure had fun. I hope everybody else did as well. Again, if you got questions about anything we've been chatting about, feel free to drop it in the chat here in One Hive TV or in the Twitch chat as well. We always appreciate feedback and questions there. Let us see. Let me check on the Twitch side. Okay, we'll take this opportunity for all you good friends out there to give you the POAP code. So if you are indeed listening right now, you've stuck around for the first hour, GM to you, welcome. I'm glad to have you with us. And you can mint your POAP. The easiest way to do this is on the mobile device. I think there's probably a way to do it on desktop, but we're doing the secret code again, and we're going to continue to do it this way. And so the easiest way for you to get it is to download the POAP app to your phone. And then you don't have to, create a new wallet or do any keys, dancing, or anything like that, right? You just plug in the wallet address that you want the app to reflect and mint to, and then you're all set to go. And if you open the app, you will see that there is a button that says secret code. And if you put in that field Hedgey 22, I'll say that again, Hedgey, like the hedgehog, Hedgey, Hedgey. Also like the firms on Wall Street. Hedgey, all lowercase, and then the number 22. Hedgey 22. And you should be able to mint your POAP. We'll announce this again periodically throughout the next hour. We got 2 guests coming on today. We got one coming on in about 10 minutes, another coming in at the bottom of the hour. Again, GM everybody for joining us. I don't have anything else specific. I guess, Ed, is there anything you want to share on like the gardens side of things? Anything from the TEC in particular that you think is worth sharing today?
No. I just want to comment on the Jitsu comments that Hard Hat is a case framework for Solidity devs, and think the toolset will have a Phillips screwdriver for Uni or ENS. And this is where I become ignorant and I feel really homosexual because I have zero idea what a Phillips screwdriver is. But anyways, just to provide that explanation that Jitsu provided for the Hard Hat.
I assume that this means that they're gonna, like, with the money they'll craft some type of tool that'll make it easy for new devs to build on or with Uniswap code. If that's incorrect, Billy, let me know. I guess that seems like what Uniswap would get out of it, right? Is this ability to make their accessible in some way, or like recruit better, more devs.
On their snapshot, they have an explanation of very other projects like Slang, ReefNet. They explain the other tools that they want to sort of improve. So it's interesting. They even have the Web3 GS front end platform. So they have this explanation of all the tooling that they also want to develop, not only Hard Hat. So it's interesting. The more tools you provide to the ecosystem, the more robust we can get. So it's good for them.
Right on. I also noticed in chat here we got some people. Apparently, all the POAPs have already been minted, so we'll come up with a way to increase the total number that is available next week, and then a better way to distro. Right. We'll solve this. In fact, if there are people who are here, I'm going to take what I'm going to do right now, actually, each time I announce it, I'm going to take a screenshot of the Discord, and of our Twitch chat, or our Twitch, viewership, and we'll just keep those. And if there's anybody who is listening right now, who is actually here and would like to get a POAP for today's and wasn't able to get one, DM me and I'll double check against whether or not you're here with us right now. And if you are, then we'll find a way to get you a snazzy POAP. Acid Laser has done a fantastic job designing it and getting the event set up and everything each week. So if you're here for real, in the flesh, not a farmer, then we're happy to get you on here. So just DM me again. And I'm not going to, just to be clear, right? If I know you and I recognize you and I can see you in the chat, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If I don't know you, don't recognize you, you can spam up the channel all you want. I'll get to you when I have the second to do that. So I'm just saying, I want to make this right for everybody, and we'll figure out a way to get POAPs to people who are here. So just sit tight, and we will do that as soon as possible. Yes.
All right.
Edo.
It's my time to go.
Hey, man.
So,
Have a good rest of the day, man. It's always good to chat and get the week started with the news, sir.
same. Thanks everyone who joined today, and it was a pleasure to see a bunch of new faces. So looking forward to see you next Monday. Take care, everyone.
Absolutely. Take care, Edu. Everybody will be back in about 3 to 5 minutes with Simone from DAO Land Finance, and they're working on standing up a regenerative agriculture DAO. So they're in the early stages here. We're going to get a great presentation from him on what they're up to. But so sit tight. We'll get a little tunes for the next 5 minutes, and we'll be back.
So far away from everything, with time I don't mean a thing. And time moves slow and certainly we got no place to be. Where there's love, there is life, there's a hope and a dream. This is the place for you and me. We can go, we can stay, we can hide. We can run away. We can feel a swim in the ocean. We've fallen. Love keeps calling. I found love in the strangest places where all is meant to be. Jamming for the sounds of your favorite song. I said, good love is all we need. And when you get down, turn it up loud and soon we'll feel at peace. When the world does you wrong, you listen to that song like a birthday, listen to the trees. There's a fire rising. There's a fire. We can get higher. Love keeps calling.
Okay, everybody, let's see here. GM, once again, we are going to start here momentarily. I need to figure out a way to like fade out the music instead of just smashing the stop button. If anybody knows how to do that with the HydraBot, I don't know if it's possible with the free version, but let us know. GM against once again to everybody joining us here in Discord. GM to all if you're on Twitch or if you're in both places simultaneously, you get a double GM today. If you scroll up in Discord, you will see the One Hive TV channel. You can drop questions there. You can drop song requests. You can drop whatever you'd like, info, feedback on what we're chatting about. Questions would be great too, either there or in the chat channel on Twitch. Really quick about the PO app. We initially, we're experimenting with different secret word options because manual distribution is something we simply don't have bandwidth for at the moment. And so we're going to continue to iterate on this. We reduced the total cap of PO apps to 40 for today's show. And it looks as though we have had about half that number on each, roughly, in each the Discord and on Twitch. But obviously there is, the force is strong with the farmers. Okay. And I don't look, folks, it's all good. We want to spread cool artwork around. So like, I'm not going to hate on the farmers too much here. I hope you really enjoy the content and can contribute and help build with us as well. But point being here, I know a number of you have DM'd me already, so I'm not going to repeat that message. If you heard it earlier, if you're here for the PO app, my understanding is that the number is currently maxed out. So I'll share the code once again here in like 20 minutes just to make sure. If there are any remaining, I've asked Acid Laser, who runs the PO apps, to double check on that. We will increase the cap for next week, but we'll also try to find the best way to make sure that we get PO apps in the hands of the folks that are here with us and are continuing to tune in on a weekly basis. That's the goal here. But Acid Laser's got some great artwork on there. You definitely want to pick it up. So once again, the code was Hedgey22. We'll mention that again later. If the mint is out, then we'll try to find a way to make that right for people who did not get them and who have been a part of our project for a while in particular. And next week we'll raise the cap. Right now, we're starting the second half of the show, and we have guests on to chat about projects that they're working on. And we actually have a double feature today, which I'm very excited about. We have the next 30 with Simone of DAO Land Finance. Welcome, Simone, man. How you doing?
Hey, Great, thanks. Very happy to be in this One Hive TV show. I'm a big fan of One Hive. Nice to meet you all.
Oh yeah, man, it's great to have you with us. You and I have been chatting about DAO land for a while now, and I know we intersected with Dorg Tech. If people aren't familiar, you should check out Dorg Tech on Twitter. They're a great service DAO over there. But tell us about DAO land finance and what are you up to these days with this project?
So, DAO land has started from an idea of me and another group of folks that there is a lot of very useful tools that might help not just online Web3 projects, but more concrete regenerative projects in the areas of regenerative living, farming, and finance. So we started working at this project a couple months ago, and now we are basically in the start, because till now we just realized what should be the infrastructure of our project. So we are using gardens of One Hive, and we are using Gnosis Safe for some things. And the first thing I want to say is that what we want to do is a community-first approach. I am a big fan of One Hive. I still didn't find like the way to cooperate with this wonderful community like on a daily basis, but I follow this project since a lot. And one of the things I liked more about One Hive is being a community-first project that really is born from a community. And so, from our perspective, One Hive is a best practice. And we are bringing the expertise in knowing One Hive and other best practices in the community-first space of DAOs to bootstrap DAOland that basically is a community that wants to, a community-first experiment in regenerative living, farming, and finance. This is what I wrote in the slides I prepared for today. I actually thought the show was like half an hour from now, 6 hours from now, but so I'm not like prepared, but yeah, I think it's even better to have this.
Yeah, man, we'll just kick it and walk through the slides here and educate people on what you're doing.
Great. Can I share screen or do you want to?
So on Twitch right now, and this is sort of the limitations of the Discord stage. So we're not able to share screen with the audience on Discord, but we do have a Twitch stream going right now. And what I've done is put your get your slides up there. I'll get your slides up there. Yeah. So as you're talking, folks, I encourage you to head over to Twitch. 1HTV. 1HTV is the channel name, and you can follow along on there for the visuals if you'd like.
Great. So let me open Twitch. Let me mute the audio. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, don't sweat it too much, man. I'll sort of move through the slides as you're talking, do the best I can, and no stress. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, we are not a startup. We are a living experiment. We don't want to follow a waterfall approach, and one of the reasons we are here is also to find other people like T-Wealth, for example, that is interested in participating in this community-first experiment. And let's go on with the slides.
Stu, you want to talk about mission vision? Or values and vision, mission rather.
Yeah, so one of the things that brought me to the Web3 is recognizing that there are not only zero-sum games. So yeah, let me talk a little bit about my background. So I've been for 10 years a professional poker player. Then I've started coaching people to play poker. And then something around 2016 to 2018, I started discovering this blockchain. And then that there was DAOs. I think, the DAO experiment, the first DAO was about 2016. And so I started realizing that I was playing zero-sum games, but positive sum games could be real. And so I started investigating in this kind of approach. And that's what brought me to also to look for and find One Hive. So it is possible to create value without a zero-sum approach, but with a mutualistic approach. And one of the main values of regenerative living, from my point of view, is to do not externalize the costs of production of a product or a service, while being externalizing some of the positive impacts. And this is why the blockchain can start a flywheel of regenerative projects. And of course, I follow, most of the folks here probably follow projects like Givet, like Gitcoin. So all those kind of projects that are trying to create a common good. And
Right.
Yeah, go on, please, Ted.
No, I was just saying this is it fits very neatly and nicely sort of within the Gardens ecosystem and the ethos of that space for sure.
Yeah, so that's why we are here. And let's go to the next slide.
Got it.
So our tools, we deployed a token on Gardens on Gnosis chain, and we deployed this token from a Gnosis safe. And at this stage, we have actually 2 signers, but it's basically 4. But 2 of us are farmers, are not people from the Web3 space. So we are still educating them in using MetaMask. So we will add them to the safe once they are 100% ready, not to wreck things because they didn't understand MetaMask. And we are happy to have other people join as seed founders of this project. And for now, the idea is to have governance decision to be taken with the snapshot framework or with Gardens DAO voting, basically. The tokens are a bit less than 1 million and will slowly grow as per Gardens inflation. We have used them a standard configuration of the Gardens framework to build the token and the DAO. So how the token will be distributed? It will be distributed, of course, with conviction voting. The idea is to have this because it allows the project to stay open and permissionless. But we will also have a monthly distribution of tokens to all the people that want to participate in various working groups that we will present shortly. And there is no pre-mining. So the only idea, as I will say in a moment, is that the founding members, including folks of One Hive and other projects that want to join, will have 5,000 tokens each. And the other tokens will be distributed with conviction voting with the monthly distribution that will be managed with an optimistic, let's say, approach with the safe. And then there is a Gnosis action for whoever wants to bring some stable coins to the project. The Gnosis action is already there, and it will finish on the end of March. The idea is to sell at least 20,000 tokens for $1 each. The maximum amount of tokens that will be sold is 200,000, and the minimum subscription being 500. And the idea is to have a fully tokenized community. So to use these funds just to deploy, not actually to deploy because it's already deployed, to add liquidity to the land on a pair or other pairs like land XDAI.
Right on. I just want to pipe in really quick and say, if people are listening and watching, feel free to jump into the chat with questions or comments here. If you could simply, in debate we call it signposting, if you can add something to your comment that is tied to the slide title that you're looking at on Twitch, we can definitely loop back and sort of answer questions as we go. So right now there's some technical information being provided on the plans for token distribution. I don't know, Simone, are you sort of open to receiving some feedback or questions on this, like a Q&A, maybe if we have time towards the end?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, ultimately, we might want to carve out a portion of this because we have 30 minutes, and so it's entirely up to you. And we can, I don't want to sidetrack the conversation right now. I'm going to pass the mic back to you just in a second. But as an aside, Paul is interested in hosting an hourly Regen project conversation each week, in addition to like the show that we're currently running right now. So in the future, we could have you back on for an entire hour. You can vibe with Paul, and we're going to spin up another piece of programming for everybody in the audience to know as well. But I just want to encourage people right now, drop thoughts, questions in the chat, either on Twitch or in the One Hive TV channel in Discord. And Simone, just continue doing what you're doing, man. Just wanted to chime in momentarily.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. Yeah, let's go to the next slide. So we'll present a little better the token distribution. So yeah, as I said before, the team allocation is basically we are a group of 5 founders. It can be up to 12 founders, and yeah, everyone in the One Hive community that is like known or recognized by T Wells or other folks that we know and we respect is welcome to join as a founding member. And then if the founding members want, they can get 5k more tokens if they will put them in a liquidity pool. But yeah, this is kind of a technical thing that we might because we will leave the link with the slides after. So yeah, let's just go on to the next slide.
Right on, talking about monthly token distribution to individual working groups.
Oh, this is the core thing of DAOland. So what we want to do is to build a token economy. So there will be a monthly distribution, 25,000 land tokens. The idea at start is to have a symbolical value and hopefully a market value of $1 of the token. And of course, we already know some people that will put some liquidity, and there is already a little bit of people that believes in the project will buy some tokens from the Ignosis auction. And the idea is to have this completely permissionless start of a community that will have various working groups. So one working group is the Eco Village. So we see that it will happen, that there will be tokenized communities. There is a lot of projects that we are following. Many of them are pretty corporate till now. So what we want to bring is like some fresh air of something that starts from a community. So there are 5k tokens per month that will go to the Eco Village working group. So whoever wants to bring his expertise or its goodwill in helping building tokenized eco villages all over the world. Then we have a regenerative agriculture pilot project that has already started and is made by one of our founders. We are regenerating an olive oil crop that wasn't farmed for like 6 or 7 years. It's 2.5 acres, 1 hectare of land with about 200 plants, I think. And we are paying all the expenses with tokens of this regenerative agriculture pilot project. And Emiliano, that is one of the founders, will airdrop as a tokenized oil and also, of course, real oil, all the future production to the community. Of course, it's something like symbolic for what's the expectation we have of growth of this project. But yeah, we think it's very important to have something to start experimenting horizontal ways of governing a real regenerative project, because otherwise it's just talks and ideas, while we know that it's very important to test things on reality. Then we have
just to make sure, Simone, that I'm on the right slide here. We're looking at we're on the DAOland.house eco village slide, correct? Or is that a little too far?
Yeah, it's fine. And I was actually following the whole working group slide to make a recap of all the working groups. And this is so. Yeah, let's go to the. Yeah, okay, let's go to the previous slide. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there is.
No problem. So okay. You want to talk about working groups a little more?
Yeah, exactly. So we have the Eco Village one, the regenerative agriculture pilot project. It's something that it's already there and people can see what happens, know Emiliano. And it's like a pilot project to build a best practice on real land on a real project. Then there is more a long-term vision about the possibility to have product tokenization of organic and regenerative agriculture products. We see this thing to be fundamental. So in general, not only in agriculture, we see that it's the demand that creates the possibility to produce things in the right way, so respecting the environment, respecting the work of person. If you want too cheap products, then you will create a down spiral of low quality and low quality of life for people. So we need to use also the Web3 tools like NFTs to represent the quality of products that is not only organoleptic quality of food, but also the quality for the environment and for the people that are harvesting and that are working to produce this product. Then very quickly there will be the governance research working group and a bigger group about marketing, partnership, adoption, tools that will get 10,000 tokens per month, because we see this is one of the most important things to actually grow the project.
So I got a question for you here. I know I got a few more slides I want you to share, but specifically, I feel like a slide such as that where we're looking at, this really deserves its own hack session, right? With people, and perhaps if you're in the audience, I'm saying there's a lot of different ways to think about how you might plug in if you're interested in having conversation on this. I don't know, Simone, it's I dig it like a lot, and I'm almost thinking, when you see the governance research working group, for example, this is something where there's a number of people that automatically come to mind that would either like to actively participate, or you could like outsource certain things to other existing DAOs, right? There are a number of these R&D like service DAOs that are popping up, Anyways, I guess the takeaway is, if you're in the audience right now and you're vibing with this and you're interested in getting involved, maybe we could arrange a time to hack more on this live if people want to. Simone, what do you think? Like specifically just carve out something like the working groups and educate people on this and get some feedback.
Super. Yeah, super interesting. One thing I want to add is that, for sure, there is a lot of projects that are touching on governance. The ideas of DAOland is not necessary to build new tools, but to have, let's say, product or user experience perspective to understand what are the best tools now that we can use to actually build value. Because we see, and I see that there is a lot of focus on, there will be a lot of better tools, blah, blah, blah. But actually, what is there can bring a lot of positive value if it starts to be used by communities. And this is what we want to give.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole other conversation that I find interesting about in the regen space, and this, the use of crypto economic systems and tooling to solve for regenerative agricultural questions or issues. Regenerative issues, generally speaking, I'm saying, I think there are a number of different DAOs that are attempting to do this in different spaces. So Moon Jelly is one, for example, that I'm also involved with, that is looking to do essentially, they don't characterize it as regenerative, but they are essentially in the same umbrella of people trying to improve our global systems, and they're targeting the ocean. I know there are others out there that have done carbon sequestration or whatever it is, carbon capture. I think the R&D, I'm coming back to the R&D for a second, I guess, because it's like, if you can fund the research to extract the best practices from other folks that are further down the regen road, as it were, I think establishing those feedback loops for new projects like that is really exciting.
Thanks, Ted.
Yeah, dude, we should get... Okay, so I got a question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot here live. I'm sorry, man. Can't help myself. We got Moon Jelly is going to be coming on in 2 weeks. So, and we got this other regen sort of show that I think we'll spin up for the One Hive TV. Is that something you'd be interested in joining us, maybe doing, if I put a specific date out, this is the 28th?
Yeah.
you want to come on and maybe we do like a feature with Moon Jelly and then do a collab, like panel conversation or something after that with you, and maybe get some other peeps on to chat. What do you think?
Yeah. Very good idea. So yeah, we'll.
All right, let's do it. I'll mute up and you take it away for the last few slides here, dude. Sorry to sidetrack the convo.
Okay, yeah, I think we can actually, yeah, I presented those. So, yeah, I've talked about this Eco Village idea. I think we can go on to the last slides. So, how you can contribute to DAOland, that is the number 11. And then I would like to have some feedback for our logo. So, we have 3 logos now that we like. And we really would like to have some feedback from the One Hive community. But yeah, so how you can contribute to DAOland at this stage? You can become part of the safe signers, so like the founding team, participate in one of the working groups, buy the token on Uniswap, and doing any meaningful work and asking for retroactive compensation in the gardens of DAOland, and buying the token on the Gnosis auction. Yeah, and one last thing. Yeah, go on, Ted, please.
No, I was just going to jump in there in the very end. Like, for what it's worth, you know, some of the folks I think on the you know, in the audience right now probably participated in the Gnosis auction we did for the TV working group, right? The TV project. And this sort of new layer, I guess, that we added to it was a superfluid stream. So, in other words, you bid on tokens in the same ways you would for a normal Gnosis auction, and like this might be something that we could have a stream about specifically to help people orient people if they haven't used it before. But the idea is you're bidding on, say, LND, right? And if you win if you assume you sell out, right, the winners of the auction, they're not getting a lump sum of LND to their wallet. They're getting a stream via Superfluid. So this you can do all of this from within the Gnosis safe. You can wrap it and like deploy the super token and all that. So we actually figured out the logistics. For what it's worth, if you're interested in folding in that additional layer to the Gnosis auction, which essentially is like a vesting dynamic, then Paul actually has a knowledge of how to pull that off in sort of logistical level.
Thanks. Yeah, it could be an idea. Let's discuss it maybe async or in chat. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I got to ask you, do you want to wrap up with a vote on the logos, or how are you feeling? We could spin up a quick emoji vote. What do you think?
It would be great to. Yeah, I don't have any preferred one of those 3. So yeah, I'm very, very curious to have some feedback.
This is a perfect wrap here, I think. Let's do this. So if you are GM to everybody who's on Discord with us, GM to everybody who's tuning in on Twitch, and some of y'all are doing both, so you get a double GM there. The visuals are all on Twitch. 1HTV. Go to Twitch. 1HTV. We'll take you to the channel. Make sure you follow, and because we have programming throughout the week. Right now that's on Twitch. We are, however, transitioning over to YouTube. And we're going to lift and shift all the operations that we're doing, all the programming over to YouTube. This is made possible thanks to Dosh sort of creating the umbrella that's going to make it possible. And this will probably be the last stream on Twitch for now. We're not retiring the channel. Follow. Okay. What's going to happen is we're going to switch over to YouTube. Then we're going to get one of these apps in place that enables us to do multi-channel streaming, and we're going to be everywhere all the time. Like, that's the goal. So welcome to everybody. We got visuals on Twitch that you need to look at in order to participate in the emoji vote right now. You know what? Hey, let me modify that. You can see one of them right now on Twitch. I'm going to flick through them. I will download these as PNGs, and I'm going to drop them in the 1HTV channel on the One Hive Discord.
I
Right.
can do actually.
So
if you want
and yeah. I mean, if you can pop them in there, go for it, man.
Yeah. So
Let's do it. And then people, let's do just a thumbs up, thumbs down. Right. We'll keep it simple as far as the emoji responses, and get a quick see what the audience thinks about the vote. If you are on Twitch and you're not on the One Hive Discord, make sure you come over. I'll drop a link real quick to the One Hive Discord just in case in Twitch. So you can come on over and vote if you'd like on the things you're seeing on screen. Give me just a sec here. And yeah, there's the first one. Sweet. Again, quick directions. If you're coming over from Twitch, the link was just dropped in chat there. It's going to drop you in a Discord, the One Hive Discord. It's got a lot of channels. Again, it is no secret. My personal opinion is we need a serious overhaul, and I don't think I'm alone in that feels. But you'll scroll down to Swarms category, Swarms, and then you're going to be doubly overwhelmed by, well, you'll be greeted by a list of, I don't know, how many are there here? 20? No, close to it. So about halfway down, you'll see One Hive TV, and we got some PNGs in here for the project that y'all just heard described for the last 20 minutes by Simone. Some awesome regenerative agriculture going on here with DAO land. Simone, you want to have any closing? Want to share any closing thoughts with the good peoples?
Yeah, about the why minimum $500 subscription for the auction. The idea is that if anyone wants to buy or get less tokens, he can just contribute, or he can buy them on his swap. So the idea with the auction was just to attract more like Fool's family and friends. And so if someone wants to buy less, it could be just a good idea to get them on his swap. And yeah, we are not trying to leverage things like to create FOMO or stuff like this. The idea is just to bootstrap a project in a very healthy way, and in a way that is participated by the community, zero pre-mining, and yeah, we tried to design just the minimum viable DAO that we are presenting, just in a way that it's really open to anyone. So yeah, I think that's the good answer.
Sweet.
Did you vote, Ed?
I haven't voted yet. I need to. Let me come over here and check it out. I might have to think about it. I will, of course, vote. I have to give it a good look. I like them all, actually. Do you have a designer that did these that is like partnered with the project that will continue to do some?
So actually, for now, we use 99 designs. That is like an app where you get a lot of designs. You pay a fixed price, and then there are designers that will compete to win. And those are the three that we liked more. And yeah, that's the answer.
Sweet. Do you want to direct people to the DAO land Discord? Could you drop a link there as well, just to give people a little CTA there at the end?
Yeah. Sure. And here it is. We still don't have the new. We still don't have the new logo, but yeah, here is the link. I will drop it in the One Hive TV channel. Okay, 6:36. I guess we're a bit late. Thank you very much, Ted.
Hey, man. Anytime. It's great to have you, Simone. And we will touch base again soon and try to figure out a way to make the Regen conversation a regular thing on the 1HTV. So I look forward to that, and have a great rest of your week, sir.
Thanks. Cheers. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Bye.
Cheers, man. Okay, folks, we got another short music intermission here. I'm going to get Lindsay up here to chat about Hedgey finance. So stick around, GM to everybody. It's great to have all y'all with us. Particularly, we see a lot of new faces today. Welcome. And we'll be back momentarily. All right. Again, GM, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to head into our final segment here. Let me go ahead and get our good friends, Lindsay and Alex, up here on the stage to share with us the latest from Hedgey Finance. Got some exciting stuff going down there with NFTs in the option space here for treasury management. So, GM, Lindsay, Alex, everybody who's joining us, make sure you're tuning in over there on Twitch, 1HTV. We're going to do a walkthrough here, I know, and have some good visuals for you there. You can follow along if you got your own wallet connected here. But welcome, Lindsay. How you doing, man?
What's up? How are you? How are you, T-Wells? Good to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Cool. Long time no see, huh?
Dude, I think it's been since Denver that we haven't spoken since then. It was awesome, man.
It was so cool. Roomy.
Some time there.
Yeah, I know. That was a lot of fun. I wasn't there as long as you were, but it was a good time, not a long time, you know?
Exactly. I think I'm going to keep it that way going forward.
You had a good time and a long time.
I got fucking wrecked, man, at the end there. I brought something home. It wasn't COVID, right? I thought it was, but it was a 24-hour thing, but it knocked me out pretty hard there on the very last day, and then same for my wife and my son. They were not too happy
sorry,
with me,
yeah, right. Daddy goes away and comes back and gets everybody sick.
Horrible, dude. Yeah, it's I tried to distance, but it's one of those things where you're in the same house with people. That's the way it is. My wife is an educator, so we sort of, the risk of bringing things home is perpetual, but we power through it. We stay healthy. It was good to see you, man, and welcome, Alex, too, man.
Hey,
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Alex is sick right now.
Yeah, I think I've been.
Oh no, man! I'm sorry to hear that.
Feeling like crap since about Saturday afternoon, but
who isn't sick? We're all this weird neurotic crypto people. Just all sick, just sharing it around.
Yeah, the sleep deprivation. I couldn't sleep at altitude, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like that was the part of the downfall for me. I think. I don't know what it is. I struggle with that part.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on last minute.
Feel
I
better soon,
know.
Alex. Yeah, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having us on last minute. No idea what we'll talk about, but we'll make the most of it.
Hey man, I just want to hear about the latest stuff you guys are up to with the NFTs and the hedgehogs. And I told you I was over in Shapeshift with a marketing work stream, and we're doing some work there with the TV team. And yeah, Pete was just over the moon. He was just basically showing to everybody the hedgehog concept, and that was awesome to hear.
That's awesome.
I wanted to learn more myself from the horse's mouth here from you guys.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, Shapeshift's awesome. They as you know already, just from everything with like One Hive, they're just like so cool and focused on exploring new ideas and just like ways to, like, in our case, like treasury diversification. We're just part of an ongoing conversation with them. Nothing set in stone, but Shapeshift's awesome. They're just like exploring a ton of things. Honestly, I started listening into their tokenomics chats just because I don't know. I like hoping just to pick up useful information on just like how to think about it all, because I think they have a really good structure and dialogue and process, and so I'm big fans of them. I think they're great. So it's mutual.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I guess I can tell you about like the OTC product and like why the hell is a DeFi NFT coming up in that product. You're looking. I'm on the Twitch now. You're on our landing page. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
We got a land page up here.
if I want to just like share this, like, you don't know what. maybe the weird hanging question of like, why does an NFT come into this? So
Sure.
click your portfolio right now if you can, T-Wells. You'll have to expand your window. Sorry, it's in a hamburger drop down right now.
Okay, let me open in a separate screen here. Just give me a second.
Okay. And I want to show you why we have NFTs. So let's say you do this. You're a buyer. You buy one of these locked OTC deals.
All right, so I got 2 in the wallet here.
Hey, I sent these to you, by the way.
Yes, this
magically.
is what I, yes.
So let's say you buy this. You buy a time locked OTC deal. How does that work? Like you could just have access to locked tokens, and you connect your wallet, and you see a with it. You could have some other, I don't know, like cold token. Like there's a few weird mechanics you could use for it. We use the instrument of an NFT to represent a buyer's position of a locked token. So in this case, this is the one on the left. This NFT unlocks 1 house in 300 days. The one on the right, that NFT unlocks 0.1 Gnosis in 6 days. When you buy this locked OTC deal, you mint a unique NFT. It's a transferable ownership right, a transferable ownership of a unique access key. That means that if you sell this, you're selling the right to those locked tokens. And that is such a big deal. If you click that link here, the copy paste link on the bottom, and paste that into a new screen, it'll show you like the kind of shareable version of what I'm talking about. Why is this important? Well, because what we're trying to do with this is we're trying to create the ability for DAOs to raise funds while avoiding like dumping tokens on the market with time locks. For buyers, we're trying to create more flexibility because you own this NFT. You can sell this NFT. You can auction it. You can use it as collateral. It's not just an NFT. It's the right to the tokens. So in this case, if somebody buys this NFT from you in 6 days, they can just use it to get 0.1 Gnosis. That has substantial impact on the ability to have secondary markets of trading, basically liquid assets, while still protecting the underlying token to the block. I sent you a link as well on our DMs. If you click that as well, that's an OpenSea link.
You gotta give it just a sec here. Yep.
Just to show you what I mean by this is that like you don't need some fancy like mechanism for these to like resell them. You can go to, in this case, OpenSea. If you scroll down, you can see the items. You can go to OpenSea and you can auction one of these off. So if I, for instance, was a DAO and I wanted to auction off tokens, I could just put them in one of these NFTs and just auction it off on OpenSea. If I wanted to sell these, I can just literally come on here, offer it for sale. And you see right there in the properties, if you scroll up a bit, you see the token that's locked, the amount that are locked. That's right. And the unlock date. So what we're trying to do with these is create the idea of like a DeFi NFT. This isn't just a JPEG or a PFP JPEG. This is a financial vehicle. And so in the bigger picture, we think creating a way or democratizing access to OTC deals for DAOs and their communities and using NFTs as this vehicle for those locked positions just create something brand new that creates a lot of value potentially for DAOs and treasuries. So that's it. I'm going to stop rambling. I could just like talk nonstop, but like you're probably scratching your eyes out listening to me.
Not at all, man. No, it's so I think folks in the audience here, GM to everybody if you're with us on Discord, on Twitch. There's a lot to unpack here, I guess, sort of from the premise of just understanding the importance of the value proposition of Hedgey, like on y'all's homepage, and the importance of that. I would say particularly now, and then the way that you're sort of marrying the need to diversify treasury holdings with and reducing sell pressure combining that with the sort of generative PFP, I don't think that's ever been done before, right? Like that's, yeah, it's pretty
No,
fucking
not
awesome. Yeah, man.
That's what I know. I mean, it's a fucking weird idea, but it's one that, like, you know, we talk with you, we talk with a lot of people who just see trends, and like these are things people are trying to figure out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys,
I mean, like,
you know, Paul, everything you all do. I mean, you literally just have proposals around so many of these ideas already because you explore it.
I think like there's this narrative here, man, that it's so, but holding it represents, like, if I'm thinking about, say, the NFBs, right? Okay, if you had sort of that aspect that is combined with a very tangible aspect of conviction in the project that is like combined with the NFT ownership, whether it's tokens or even like liquidity, like LP positions, I think is a really, I don't know, it's a really compelling use case for the art too. Like, I guess, in a way.
I think that's interesting. I mean, we've made these flexible to where we can do any art we want, and like we're talking with some DAOs to like incorporate their art into this process. And it's not just the OTC sales. I mean, like we have some DAOs that are exploring the idea of using for like contributor rewards to basically give out rewards to people in like a visual, you know, NFT. That maybe it's locked for a year and it has like a multiplier more than just if they were like liquid tokens. It's interesting because like that becomes something visual, right? Like the idea of a visual wallet, I think there is an element of like human behavior and how we are with like, if I had, you know, a couple $100 in this PFP and I was really into the DAO, like I wouldn't just rush to sell it or sell a portion of it. I'd probably just leave it in like the wallet because it's like my icon.
Yeah.
Like this icon, like you see this Hedgey right here. That's my Twitter profile pic. I think it has like 100 uni or something in it. I'm not going to just like sell a couple of the uni or dump it to sell the uni because I'm going to have to fucking burn the PFP. You know, I think it's interesting. It's a small detail, but I think it's fascinating one to explore.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I think if you can create a greater sense of ownership, like if you get to the point where you can use an NFT to flex like an LP position with a project you have high conviction in, like that sort of changes the game in an interesting way. Honestly, like I'm sort of FOMOing here.
No, for sure. You can do that. I mean, I think that's one of the big things we're exploring is like, you know, like you have this PFP that literally only exists because it has a token backing it. Like you won't find one of these without that. And so like whether it's a custom skin or you know, like an NFB, you could make these to where you see somebody with it and you know like they're holding, you know, honey. And I think that's interesting because wallets are not like this visual thing. I don't think of your wallet and think of like seeing it. I just think of like a piece of a string of numbers and a balance. But in this case, you could have something where, you know, every person you see with a certain NFT is a holder of the DAO or, you know, of the token. I think it's interesting. But bigger picture, you know, I think it's all about like DAOs have real financial needs. I think One Hive talks about needing stable coins. Like a lot of DAOs are starting to maybe just think about. And you've definitely been ahead of the curve on that. And so like at the end of the day, like we want to make something that lets those DAOs generate stable coin reserves just to be able to, you know, be kind of more stable in volatile market conditions without dumping on the market. Because no one wants that, and DAOs don't, and communities don't. So we hope at the end of the day that's the primary use case for it, and this other stuff just makes it better for buyers and cooler for communities. That's it. Clicking through. You're hooked now, aren't you, T. Wells?
Dude, there is this interesting conversation. I need to get these links and like create a better way to source them while I'm talking live here. But there was a conversation about like the value or the price of bank, right? So the Bankless DAO, and the sort of the contention was that here's Bankless providing all this value, you know, for the DAO space in general, which is true. And there's like a lot of spin-offs. And so that isn't reflected in the price of Bankless, right? So there's this, it's like this fundamentals argument, I guess, right? And the most important response in this Twitter thread, in my opinion, was somebody who's basically saying, yes, well, this is like the core dilemma, right? If you're using the token of the DAO to incentivize really meaningful contributions, you are also generating sell pressure in the process, and like that has to be recognized as an inevitability. So these tools that help to not just alleviate, I'm thinking about the right like verb, but I feel like that's really where Hedgey sits in my mind, is like helping to solve that core issue. I'm definitely thinking about ways to do this with Honeyman for sure.
I think it's super interesting. You know, we saw weird use cases with, who's brought this up?
Like
for
liquidity
instance,
mining almost, but with like a locked NFT representing your LP position, which I think maybe T-Well's even brought up. But, you know, I think as we get more and more people to use and dive into the products, we'll probably find out that that there's use cases even beyond what we've imagined so far, you know, that people can sort of integrate and build on top of.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting, and I think right now what we're focused on is trying to find what value people get out of it. So, like, what would cost someone to create an OTC pool, and then also exploring, you know, what incentivizes people to buy or not buy. I think that's like an important part of this right now, which I guess goes into what you're saying, Al. What drives demand? I'd love feedback. I mean, I know we all like to listen. I know there's, you know, 17 people in the audience right now, and probably have heard us talk ad nauseum before. But I'd actually just, is that something we can do? T-Wells? Like actually just try to pull people to talk?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, let's do it. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to come up on stage and ask a question, or otherwise
just share a thought.
Yeah,
half-baked thoughts are welcome. Honestly, like,
absolutely.
So tired of hearing myself talk all day. I'd love to just talk to somebody else. And that, of course, not tired of talking to you.
No, I think, yeah, either way, right? People want to come up. If you'd rather drop a question or comment in the chat.
Yeah, Miguel. Miguel wants to come up. Is that right? Miguel wants to come up?
Cool. Miguel, come on. GM.
GM, hi. How are you all?
What's up? Thanks for coming up, man.
What?
Thanks for coming up.
Oh, no. Thanks to you. I'm outside, so if it's like outside sound, it's because of that. I just have a question. I like looking on the page of the Hedgey. When can I will mint NFT? Sorry for the noise.
No worries. I missed the last part. You said when what NFT?
When can I will mint one?
Oh, when can you mint one? So the NFTs are minted when people buy an OTC deal. So in this case, if you see those OTC deals and you buy an OTC deal, I think it's a $20 like minimum to mint like a cool NFT. Otherwise, you just get like a generic bear. But if you buy an OTC deal, you will mint an NFT. Like the NFTs aren't some like a novel thing, or it's not a mint drop. We're not like selling NFTs. They like literally exist only when you buy locked tokens. And so if you buy a locked token deal, you will have an NFT. And that NFT will represent access to those tokens you bought.
Okay, that's very cool. I have never like seen something like this, so it's like kind of new for me.
That's great feedback though, because we're always exploring like where people get broken down. I think you're right. It is a new concept. So a lot of people think it's like, what the fuck are NFTs doing here? How do I mint one? And not drawing the relationship between you buy a locked OTC deal, it mints an NFT. That NFT is your deal. If you sell that deal, or sell that NFT, you sell your deal. But if you buy a locked position, you get an NFT. Cool.
Yeah, we could even do one on screen here if you're following on Twitch, Miguel, and anybody else in the audience. We can sort of show you here. They got you go to app.hedgey.finance, connect your wallet, and you'll see that it looks like there are 4 networks. Is that right, Hedgey? Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like 8 or 10, but it just shows the ones that have deals live on them.
Right, got it. So like you could go, Miguel, right now and buy what is this, Uni tokens on Polygon, if you wanted to, and it will show you here if you're looking on Twitch, folks. It sort of comes up with all the information that you need on the module there. It seems, Lindsay, like, and Alex, a trick here is to enable the auction. Well, I don't know. I guess like the extent to which you want to enable the auction to be flexible in price. I mean, like right now, right? You see a situation where you be buying it above the current market price because you're dumping. Like, how do you think about that from the auctioneer's perspective? I don't know.
Well, so it's different than an auction, that you're not paying the highest price from buyers.
Right. Right.
But what they're typically doing or what people are typically doing is selling it at a discount for a short period of time. Like, we've wanted just to highlight these. So it's fine that these are up for a long period of time. But typically, like, you might have a community saying, like, look, we're going to have this open for 4 days. You can buy at this price for whatever, or 2 days or 3 days or whatever. And so for the seller, it's just constantly knowing, like, what price they want to sell it at and adjusting it based on that price.
Right. It
would be hard to make it like responsive to price, because then you could just have like weird shenanigans happen.
Well, and I mean, right now, I
just don't want to open that can of worms.
And
and this is also
pump, right? Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sort of like a premeditated thing, where we imagine, and to be honest, we have, we'll learn a lot over the next couple of weeks and months, but we imagine, like with Shapeshift, for example, they would sort of already agree either through a proposal or through a general sentiment, we're going to sell X amount of tokens at this price. And so it's sort of transparent and well known, and that price may be higher or lower, than the current market price, which obviously fluctuates. But in theory, it's sort of like everyone is on board with that price when they establish it.
Yeah.
Right on.
And so I would say these are just sort of examples that are on there right now, which were priced probably reasonably at the time, but given everything over the last couple of days, have fallen.
I will add, there's other use cases which I'm curious to see what people think as well. The public OTC is obviously what we're focused on, but this is an OTC product.
Having a little trouble hearing you, Lindsay.
He's saying this is an OTC product where, we've heard some asks for this from other projects where they have whales that have like, big amounts of tokens that are looking to offset without actually, dumping it into the market.
Right.
And so you don't have to lock up the tokens, right? It could be something like, we just agree that I need to offload, 200 honey, but I don't want to affect the liquidity in the market. And I found, you as a buyer or publicly enough buyers to sort of buy that.
Or you just don't want to use an escrow. You just want to
well, that's what I mean.
Not trust, random Joe and Telegram. You can just use it for a peer-to-peer OTC product. No NFT.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm breaking up, but yeah. So,
no, I can hear you much better now. Well, and this is on the other hand, it was like when and sort of back to Shapeshift for a second. I know they have, as an example, and I know other DAOs have this similar characteristic, which is they have some community members that are already doing a good amount of like art and, you know, creative expression, I guess. And I know in the case of Shapeshift, they have LunaFox, which has done a couple NFT runs to literally raise funds for the Shapeshift treasury. And so like if there are DAOs that have folks that want to either collaborate or plug in some of their own artwork, that's a possibility too, right?
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were going to be taking that.
I wasn't sure, like, if that's, I was curious to know, like, the flexibility on the art side, like if a DAO wanted to use this as a tool for treasury management, it's like we have
Sure,
this,
yeah.
yeah.
So we've already spoken with a couple of DAOs. I don't want to share the visuals or be like spoiling something that's not like announced yet. But we do have DAOs that, like, for instance, wanted to just have with their logo.
Right.
So it's just like a wild looking, you know, logo heavy version of the hedgehog for that. But it's fully flexible in that, like, if we find demand of people wanting to like use their custom art for their DAO, and there's a way to still like see that this is like a Hedgey deal, 100% capable of doing that. Just to make it something that's like successful and willing to do that, I guess, for our early partners and people using the protocol, I should say, rather than partners. Just to make it fun. Like, that's the thing we need. I know we have like 15 people here listening to this. Like, we want to like have conversations with projects and DAOs. I mean, this is something that every project and DAO is talking about internally, at least. And so I think it's important to have those conversations. And so, like, there's 15 people here. Like, if you can do one thing, like, just talk about this with like other projects DAOs are in and see what they're doing. And yes, like, Hedgey is a permissionless protocol. You can use it as a DAO to do this today. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, folks. I mean, Hedgey Finance, at Hedgey Finance on Twitter. Definitely follow. It's on screen right now, and the links to the site and to the docs, I believe, are in the One Hive TV channel here on the Discord. If you're joining us here, so definitely
Pushing that
share
volume. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it, Ted.
Hey man,
Look,
I think it's true that people are arriving at this. I think this is an idea whose time has come, and I mean, I'm highly biased, man, but like.
No, I mean, look, we're all in, like, I mean, I've been in a ton of communities, you know, I'm not just talking about like my own, but like, this is shit that, like, you know, you have to be talking about as a community. And it's not like this like taboo subject to be like, hey, like, how much like stable coins do we have? And like, what are we doing to make sure that we have like 6 months of runway in the treasury? You know, like, I mean, like, that's stuff that like you're putting your time and energy, we all are. So it's conversations to have. Like One Hive is amazing at having those conversations, like the proposals and everything. And if you're in a project that's not doing that, this isn't about using Hedgey, but just like, you have to know, like, hey, how are we going to be open in 6 months? Are we just going to give out tokens? Like, what if the token price jumps and drops in half from here? Does that mean we just give out twice as much? And does that just accelerate the decline in the price? Anyways, I think it's important stuff to have a conversation around, something we do for sure, or with those conversations. I'm looking to talk to more projects about it. So if you talk to a project and they don't have a good answer, you should talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like DAOs that are if you're here looking for alpha, folks, I mean, this is not financial advice, but like, my feeling is just looking at this, you know, the early adopters of this are thinking about important things. Like, if you want a fundamentals indicator, I feel like people who are adopting this type of tool are thinking ahead of others. That's just my position.
No,
you know, so you know, maybe that's alpha on their token, right? You know, I don't know, Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, totally. We were actually talking with a group Maltese earlier, and I mean, obviously, we've had several conversations on the treasury side of things and using our covered calls product pretty successfully thus far, I think. And you know, most projects don't even want to think about treasury management, until they get to a certain point. And I think finding those early stage projects that do actually prioritize it, not as something that they should prioritize over building, but just as like a core piece of fundamental DAO management of like, all right, let's make sure that we don't overlook everything and get our finances in order so that we can actually focus on building. And that's not like the financials aren't going to hold us back. I think finding projects that can like set themselves up for just getting the basics right on their treasury and financial reporting at first can then really, really tackle and focus on building, because at the end of the day, like treasury management like is fun for those who are interested in treasury, but for most people it's boring, and it should be boring, right? Because you want to like not worry that you're going to run out of money. You want like that to sort of be self.
It's not boring for the people who have to worry about that stuff.
Right. It was
for the operators. That shit ain't boring. It's like,
yeah, for sure. But for for everyone else, you're like, I just want to make sure that I'm paid. Like I can keep building.
Of course.
Most important question: when are we going to get one of these NFBs combined with a Hedgey? I see. Is it? I don't know. Say it
at the moment, but
yeah. Oh, I saw somebody else in here.
There
as
are
well.
some other people here. 08's here. I know he was
NFT designer. Who's it? Rohik Benitez.
Rohik. Yeah, Rohik.
Anyways, we should talk about that. That'd be dope.
Indeed. Let's see. Let's get 08 up here for a second. If you guys are, can you guys stick around for a bit, or how are you feeling?
Yeah, whatever. Good with me. You're the guy who's been up here for 2.5 hours.
Just trucking.
I don't know what you're on.
I got to ask you about multis. I think I saw from the Hedgey Twitter that there was some connectivity going there, and would love to hear more about their stuff and how you plug in with them. But I think 08's got 08 was one of the contributors for the NFB, and he's got one as his avatar, right, man? How you doing, 08? GM, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Hello. Thanks for joining.
Hey.
Yeah, GM. How are you? I just listened. You were talking about Hedgey Finance, right?
Yep.
I was just trying to be sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's us, Hedgey Finance. You're at Gitcoin DAO. Is that right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also a contributor in OneHive. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I see the visionary NFB at OneHive and Gitcoin, and sorry, I was just stalking you through your bio.
No problem. I'm very. If somebody stalks me, I'm like flattered.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah. Thanks for jumping up. Thanks for jumping up.
I mean, Zeri, do you think there are a couple of y'all that did design work for the NFBs? Do you guys have, like you, I know Rohek, and when I'm looking at least the folks here with us on Discord, do you have an interest in chatting about doing an OTC? Like basically, would you guys be interested in having some art featured? Or is this what you're asking? I want to make sure I'm asking the right question, Lindsay.
I'm just interested in the NFTs. I don't know. It's mostly just like a fun kind of project. Like as we explore like Hedgey's rolling out, I'm just interested in. I don't even have a finite detail or idea yet, but just of like, as I look at the NFTs marketplace or the site, just how I don't know if there's an interest in that art collaborating somehow, or maybe that's a down the road kind of item.
I'm wondering that this might be interesting V2 though, because it's like, you already have this ecosystem of contributors to the artwork. If we're being frank, one of the challenges was incentivizing continued interest in contributions to the project. So like if there's a way to build on those existing art connections to like then do a V2 that represents, you know, treasury management for all these connected projects, that seems like a pretty interesting opportunity. I know Billy might have some additional insights on that, but he is touch and go due to his full-time work.
No worries.
So what's the question again? Can we?
I don't know what the question is. We'll figure.
I don't think there is a question. I just wanted to touch base with you to as we start to roll these out, maybe in Gnosis and OneHive ecosystem, maybe there's something fun we can do with some of the art and some of the Hedgey stuff.
Kind of my magic touch in this project, like besides a couple of B designs, was the I could call it product strategy, because we've built the project like Billy mostly because he's the dev, but this is my like biggest contribution, like this DAO connection type NFT project that I really wanted to reach out to the most inclusive, I could call them DAOs that are also that were kind of developed and friends with OneHive, and we wanted to collaborate in a different way and see like how it works out, and like this was all an experiment and it worked well. The artists were paid well. They trusted us. They didn't receive they only got like $50 up front. Like they trusted us, and we build on their art, and yeah, it was just, this is just an experiment, but it's still ongoing. So we would like to make it bigger or like go more deep in some situations with this experimentation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's dope. That's great, man. Great. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, I think there's some interesting ways maybe to build on those partnerships and the artwork. But yeah, is there anything else that you guys wanted to share out here? Anything coming down the pike that people should be aware of?
You know what? It's really just about. I mean, as with everything, we push this live. We want to explore it in the wild over the next several weeks. So I mean, like, obviously, I think when we start to go into like the OneHive ecosystem a bit with this, we'll have some like things to actually explore. Like once like some honey is live on this, but I also just think like just thinking through like how this can be used, because it's a very like malleable product in some ways, and it can be used for a lot of different ways. So I don't know, Ted, like I think half of what I want to do is just like play around and think of like weird shit we can do with this protocol over the next month.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. You got it.
Yeah.
What do you think? You guys are. What's the easiest way for people to follow you guys on Twitter? I think you also are doing more the Twitter Spaces. Are you doing that on like a regular basis now, or?
Yeah, we're gonna start it on Friday. I'm trying to pick up some TED vibes or some T-Well vibes there. Trying to just get your energy and just talk. But those are pretty small. I think following us on Twitter is obviously the best thing to do. But also, I mean, we're chatting in a lot of the same spaces with each other. So you know, we can just keep that going as well.
Right on, guys. Well, it's always great to chat with you all, and we'll have to, we'll retweet and direct people to any of that other content there. GM to everybody for joining us today. It's been great to see folks here in the Discord, on Twitch. Again, once as a reminder, we're switching over to YouTube next week. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody next Monday. We got another NFT feature on Wednesday, and then I think we're going to be having trivia this Friday. I got to confirm that, but we'll have to figure that out. Maybe we can find a way to do a trivia that, I don't know, collabs people who have got these OTC pools on Hedgey, and just do a big collab trivia at some point.
Yeah,
we could do it up, guys. If
Oh, let's do it. I would love to load you up, Ted, with some or two else with some with some NFTs, like some honey NFTs, give them away.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, we should do that. Actually, I don't know why we don't. We can just like sponsor it or something. Just give you a bunch of honey NFTs. You can just give to random people who show up.
Yeah, I mean it's like if trivia is a hell of a lot of fun. Like I always have fun. People learn shit, and like we get to have fun time together, educating people. The rewards, I think, I don't want to think narrowly about it. You know, I mean, we had sort of like crypto as like a pot, but you know, if we want to showcase a different piece of technology, we could make that the rewards. Anyways, I'm open to any suggestions. We can try to make some.
You could. I know we're at the tail end of this. I can't even share it. But you know, you like in your portfolio, for instance, you could just have, you know, like 20 token NFTs for whatever project is on lock for like 6 months or a year, and just hand them out as like rewards for people who get it right. Like pretty simple.
Right? Yeah. No, exactly. And you can. It's cool to like sort of showcase the rewards here ahead of time, and yeah, you get some good interest around that. Let's think on that.
We'll talk about it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on, everybody. Well, it's good to chat with you guys. I'm gonna sit down before I fall over here. 2.5 hours. It's a new record.
I don't know how you do it, man.
Hey, you know,
Jesus. You're on a marathon. You're like doing a filibuster.
oh fuck me! I sure as shit hope not a filibuster. Oh god.
Great tunes, by the way.
Hey, thanks, man.
That's great.
We got to get a playlist of people who want to hear. Yeah,
I know, man.
Should get a good intermission playlist going from people who want to drop ideas for tunes.
Super down for that. By what?
Cheers, guys. Y'all have a great week, and Jim,
Cheers.
everybody who joined us today as well. And we'll see you all soon.
See you soon, man. Later on.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Peace, guys.